Michael Afton, a character who, though shrouded in mystery, has been revealed throughout the series as the string that ties everything together. He is the thing that takes the main story and weaves it seamlessly, like a needle that weaves a sweater together properly. But though he is the main character, supposedly he has been absent in the story since Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, the game that he apparently dies in. But as the main protagonist of the series, his story is left unfinished, glaringly. Why is this? Well, it's a question that must be answered, and it's what I plan on doing today. Hello, my fellow FNAF fans. Michael Afton has been off the scene of FNAF, supposedly, for nearly 8 years at this point. And yet, as the protagonist of the series, I truly believe that this character is one of the most incomplete characters in the entire series for their story. And because of this, I truly think that it is nearly impossible for him to be dead, and why I am thoroughly convinced that he will return in the next FNAF game, Abyss. Not only do I think that this is the case, but I think that this is one of the strongest and most airtight theories that I have ever made that answers nearly every single issue of the past era, the ending of FNAF 6, and plenty more. I won't spend too much time on the intro, so without further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So what exactly do I mean when I say that he is one of the most incomplete characters of the entire series? Well, in order to diagnose what I mean by this, we first need to clarify exactly how many games Michael Afton is the player of. Let's start at the most obvious point, being Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. This is the bread and butter, no pun intended, of Michael's character arc, and is the climax pretty much everything else rests upon. In the custom night of the game, we get told exactly who this is.
Father, it's me, Michael.
And as we see at the end of the cutscene, is talking to Springtrap, aka William Afton. This means that this is the son of William Michael Afton. He speaks of being the one who
found her,
and
I put her back together, just like you asked me to.
Concluding his speech with,
there is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you.
As Springtrap pops out, confirming that his goal is now to seek William Afton and destroy him, and find him he does, at the very least, in FNAF 6.
You may not recognize me at first, but I assure you, it's still me.
Together again! You're not who I expected to see.
This means we can check the boxes of FNAF sister location and FNAF 6 for being the player as Michael. But now we go a little bit further. In the FNAF Survival Logbook, we get the exact same Mike from Sister Location, the Mike who is drawing between receiving a basket of cash and receiving a basket of exotic butters.
We have gift baskets containing fruit, nuts, flowers, and of course the ever-popular cash basket.
This Mike that we see in the logbook has shown himself to be an employee at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, as he chose to be one due to receiving free pizza. Who else have we seen a Freddy's employee with the name of Mike? FNAF 1 Mike Schmidt. The player of FNAF 1 is indeed Michael Afton. But this isn't all. This same Mike draws a picture of Nightmare Fredbear, and as we know from the Tales story Didophobia, is one of the 2 Nightmare animatronics that isn't in the actual experiment chambers. This means that this person with the book is the player of FNAF 4 who has received actual nightmares of this character. This means that the same player of sister location is the same as 1 and 4, meaning we have confirmation that Mike is the player of 1, 4, 5, and 6. But now comes the tricky part as to whether he is the player of FNAF 2 and 3, or whether he isn't. Let's start with FNAF 2. Due to the recent information we've been given in the Ephemera Kit Ticket for Fun, we know that the same Mike of the Survival Logbook has the paycheck of Jeremy Fitzgerald as an added package bonus. In the game, Fritz Smith as Jeremy Fitzgerald's replacement is said to be fired by tampering with the animatronics and odor. This is the same reason why Mike gets fired in FNAF 1. Back in the Survival Logbook as well, we see that Mike has knowledge of what actually happened in the Bite of 87, where it speaks of a complaint that customers have against Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. One of these is that Freddy bit a child, but the owner of the logbook says he tripped and fell on Freddy's head, not our fault. All of this points to the idea that Mike is most definitely involved in FNAF 2 with the same motive he had in the first game, tampering with animatronics to figure out what is going on with the spirits. Whether Mike is Fritz or Jeremy or both, he's involved somehow. And then, last but not least, we have FNAF 3. This one is arguably the most debated. Let's go back to Michael's speech in Custom Night.
I'm going to come find you.
Is he speaking after the destruction of FNAF 3? It's possible, although I don't think that Michael's speech here is meant to be taken extremely literally in the timeline. This line,
I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you,
is after he gave his speech after going down to Sister Location, implying that they are recent events. Did Sister Location happen after Fazbear's Frights? Clearly not. The events of Sister Location happen when Fazbear Entertainment is still around, trying to make strides for children's entertainment in other areas and build themselves back up, as implied by the board member.
There's no doubting what you've achieved on a technical level. These are clearly state-of-the-art.
Assuming that Vanessa in the games is William's kid, which has become significantly plausible due to what we know in the films, Follow Me happens in the mid-2000s, as Vanessa is 23 in FNAF AR, implying she's roughly 28 in FNAF's Security Breach. This places her birth date in the 2000s, and knowing Vanessa's childhood trauma from the tapes,
I was supposed to be a good girl,
means Follow Me would happen roughly in the mid-2000s. Unless Sister Location has been operated for over a decade at this point independently, it places Sister Location events in the mid-2000s to around the 2010s. This is supported by the story Didophobia, as the story indicates that Rory was kidnapped when cell phone tracking wasn't around. This makes sense contextually, as the speech Michael gives about going to Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals seems to imply that he was there recently.
And I found her. I put her back together. Just like you asked me to. She's free now.
This gives just enough time for Ennard to be roaming around in the sewers, eject Elizabeth out so she can find a new body, and become Molten Freddy before officially being caught and seized by the police. On top of this, the players of Frights has hallucinations of characters that aren't even in the building. The parts of the core 4 make it to Fazbear's Frights, but the player has hallucinations of Withered Foxy and Freddy, two animatronics that aren't anywhere to be found in the building. The hallucinations are full animatronics of characters that the player has seen from both FNAF 1 and 2 locations, meaning that this player has been a character from both, i.e. only Michael Afton under this hypothesis. So, we have now concluded that Michael is the player of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So based on all this information, what can we collect about his goal through the series? As I see it, Michael has about 4 separate motivations throughout the series. Finding closure with his brother, trying to free the spirits, find and destroy William Afton, and defeat Fazbear Entertainment. Let's unpack each one. First off, we need to talk about the thing that prompts his character development, which is the death of his brother. This is the changing point for Michael. In a family of a ruthlessly corrupt murderer of a father, a daughter whose goal is to please him, and a mother who's nowhere to be found, he does the unthinkable. He kills the only member of his family who is completely innocent, his brother. What started out as a prank ended in catastrophe. He remorses, he grieves, and on the bite victim's deathbed he says, "I'm sorry." Later in the series, when he's tampering with the animatronics, he sees Golden Freddy, and Golden Freddy says to him over and over, "It's me, it's me." It's who? It's him, the bite victim, his brother. He knows he's out there. Can he help him? He tries. He wants to know, so he tampers with the animatronics, only for him to find something far worse. It's not just his brother, it's all of them. This leads into his second motivation: free the spirits. Why does he keep getting fired from location to location? Because he's trying to tamper with the animatronics to free the spirits. But for some reason, he can't, and he keeps getting fired from it. Why is he trying to free the spirits? Because he has realized the disturbing truth. The bodies that were stuffed into the suits ended up possessing them, and they were his father's victims. How does he know? Well, William was once taken to trial as a suspect for the murders of the missing children. Michael, as the son of his father, was most likely asked to go to court and testify either on or against his father's behalf, especially knowing that his brother and sister are both dead. While William never gets convicted, Michael knows. He just knows. This is why he is seeking after William once he has been given his confirmation in sister location that the MCI spirits are still around. Now he's been injected with the spirits. He's now immortal as he spit out Ennard, knowing exactly that he should have died, but didn't.
I should be dead, but I'm not.
When Michael goes down to sister location, he realizes his brother, his sister, killed by the doing of his father, and not only this, the dreams that he once saw, the chambers that he was using for this. He's a total monster. Michael has to get his revenge, and he has to seek for his father and kill him. In fact, this is the reason I believe he set fire to FNAF 3, to burn it down, hopefully with him in it, to kill him, but it doesn't work. And finally, last but not least, he has a motivation to destroy Fazbear Entertainment. This one is a little bit more subtle, but it's clearly there. Michael, now knowing who is possessing every single animatronic, including the puppet, knows the legacy of Fazbear Entertainment and how it relates to his father. Every building had someone die. Fredbear's Family Diner had the bite victim. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza had Charlotte and the MCI. The New and Improved had the DCI, and Circus Baby's Pizza World had his sister. He has seen it all. He wants it gone. Hence why when he is given the opportunity to rent a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza franchise in FNAF 6, knowing what's in paragraph 4, he has no hesitation. He knows where it is, being right next to his old house, and what it is, being that it will lure everyone, including the spirits, his sister, and most importantly, his father. At this point, he's also seen how corrupt Fazbear Entertainment really is. The fact that they're profiting off of dangerous animatronics still with zero regard for their past. The fact that they'd be willing to partner with his father despite him being the main suspect for the death of 11 children from their locations and death of his sister at, well, the sister location. No, it all needs to go. So, finally, with all this laid out, where does this get us at the end of FNAF 6? When we get to the fire of FNAF 6, assuming that the bite victim is the cake receiver in Happiest Day, he gets closure with the bite victim, and through the spiritual realm, the puppet gives him the birthday that was supposed to be. A birthday that didn't involve his death through being killed in the jaws of Fredbear. A peaceful birthday. And the spirits, they also get their happiest day. They get to pass on and have the birthday they always wanted, a birthday that didn't include being lured and murdered by the hands of his father. But ultimately, this is where it ends. Of all the things that Michael wants, only 2 of these get fulfilled. Theoretically, even if William is truly dead and he isn't returning at all in the future, he's still not fully dead. Shadow Freddy, as I pointed out in a recent video, is most likely still alive, possessing the M2 program. And even if he isn't, M2 is still replicating William Afton's behavior and still causing deaths through the agents that he's using. So even if William is fully 100% dead, which isn't even my position, he's not really dead. He's still around even after his death. And even me, someone who does affirm that the bite victim is the cake receiver, one of the spirits does not receive their happiest day, whether it be Cassidy or the bite victim. If the bite victim has not received his happiest day, then he still has yet to close his story, and Mike isn't able to fix the problem he created and let him have closure. But if the bite victim is the cake receiver, this still leaves Cassidy, torturing William Afton and therefore keeping him alive after his death, which means it is the case that William isn't dead, which once again fulfills only 2 of his goals. Heck, if his goal was to free everyone, then it only fulfills 1 of his goals since Cassidy is still alive. Regarding the destruction of Fazbear Entertainment, this is easily one of the stupidest things of Henry's plan. I'll be making a video hopefully coming out soon after this one that will point out the absolute stupidity of Henry's plan, but I'll only talk about one of the things here, which is the fact that Henry thinks that buying a small franchise package in the same location that started it all will ultimately and completely destroy Fazbear Entertainment.
This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should.
However, This is utter nonsense, and looking at this critically really makes me question Henry's actual IQ level. It seems to me that what he's actually thinking is that by killing himself, there will no longer be the original owner, which will cause major shock to the stock owners of Fazbear Entertainment Incorporated, which will cause the company to completely fall apart and hopefully disperse. This is not how it works. As we see in both Sister Location and the internal logic of FNAF 6, there are multiple subsidiary companies in Fazbear Entertainment that own the rights to Fazbear's animatronics, being Stan's Budget Tech, Smiles and Service Incorporated, and the company controlling Rare Finds Auction, which, due to the fact that it has Funtime Chica and Music Man in it, most likely is just Afton Robotics LLC. And notice that very interesting detail, the fact that Afton Robotics is a limited liability company. In The Storyteller, we get introduced to a man named Mr. Burrows, who, according to my knowledge, has no indication of being possessed by the Glitch Trap virus. While I recognize this character does not exist in the games, I think that it is very likely that the CEO of modern Fazbear Entertainment is someone like this. In order for a corporation to dissipate and become a limited liability company, what has to happen is you have to transfer all the assets to a new LLC, which requires months of process, then you have to dissolve the corporation. Why would they want to dissolve a corporation if they have subsidiary companies already? It's quite easy. All they need to do is transfer the assets to Afton Robotics. Afton Robotics rebrands as Fazbear Entertainment LLC, and the company continues to grow. This is exactly why Henry's plan to destroy the company is so dumb. Killing yourself isn't going to do what you want.
And the memory of everything, and the memory of everything, 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 everything.
And this is exactly why I think Michael Afton is alive. Listen to what Henry says in his speech.
And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want.
The problem, of course, is that if Michael, who is a franchise owner of a company with multiple subsidiary companies connected to it, is trying to destroy the company from the inside, then Michael has every reason to be like, bro, what on earth are you doing? You're gonna kill me in here? Fazbear Entertainment isn't going away. And then find the way out and leave the building. And this explains why we see all the evidence sprinkled in the modern games that Michael Afton is alive in the current era. You first have an email from FNAF AR, which features a message between H. Crofton and M. Afton. In Security Breach, there's literally a room that is quite literally Michael Afton's room from Sister Location, which features the wall code. And you would think that these are just miscommunications from Security Breach, since Scott clarified in his interview with Daco that Security Breach was an absolute mess of miscommunication, but no, when we get to Ruin, it doubles down. We see at the beginning writing on the wall that literally says Mike, as well as a bunch of tally marks all over Bonnie Bowl and this area inside of Bonnie Bowl with a bunch of plush babies, just like how Mike did tally marks in the survival logbook. In the room where Gregory was, there's a list of groceries that the person who made this room has, which is butter, butter, and more butter. I wonder where we see butter in the Pizzaplex. On the Fazwrench in Ruin, we see a bunch of numbers on the back that says 395248, a number that is infamous for being the hex code for purple backwards. If this isn't related to William, it could only be related to someone else, implying a specific number for a specific person who was in the Pizzaplex during Ruin, someone other than Cassie's dad, as she says it looks just like her dad's. Theoretically, with the knowledge we have in Help Wanted 2, it could be Cassie's dad, but if the number is 395248, it could also be someone who's related to that number, aka Michael Afton. But there are two things that I find most damning for the hypothesis of Michael's survival. The first is this quote given by Tape Girl in Help Wanted.
The drawers have been emptied out. Someone was here. I don't think it was spring cleaning either. No. There was plastic on the floor. Someone was definitely here during the night. It had to have been the client. I mean, they sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation, told us to scan it, said it would expedite the process so we wouldn't need to program any pathfinding ourselves. It was a budget thing, I guess. It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. Looked pretty old. Somehow, though, there was usable code on some of it. It seemed to take hold by itself. Things started changing. But then, he started appearing. At least that's what Jeremy said.
As we now know, the thing that was scanned into Help Wanted was the M2 program, taken from the assets underneath the FNAF 6 location where the Mimic is stored, which contained Glitch Trap. But what is the reason for breaking in and taking it out? Well, Michael, as we know, has been to Sister Location and has seen the blueprints of Funtime Freddy containing Voice Mimic. This means that Michael most likely has some knowledge about M2, and if he does, he realizes that it would be a catastrophe if it got scanned into Help Wanted, which is why he tries taking it out and bringing it back down trapped underneath where M1 has it contained, but it's too late. It's already out. And finally, we have what Gregory says in Ruin.
My friend has access to the building maps. Just follow his instructions.
Based on the information we're given about who's been down here, you have two known characters that it could be. Either Edwin, who's a fossil if he survived, or Mike, the reason being that someone who has been using the Ruin elevators with a newly installed Fazwrench keypad means it's either Cassie's dad, who is dead at this point, or Michael. But why would Michael Afton be down here? Well, this is hopefully what we can expect going forward for Abyss. In two posts made by FNAF composer Leon Riskin on Twitter, he has indicated a couple things. The first being that the next game is featuring someone who survived a massive elevator crash by sighting someone named Betty Lou Oliver, and someone who was on fire who got away on a bicycle. This means that the gist is likely that after the elevator crash, Cassie ended up falling way down underneath where the Sister Location bunker is that we see in Sister Location, implying that there's a lot more down there that we haven't seen. This is why Leon has been posting a bunch of Sister Location full version tracks, as I pointed out in my last video. If William had been using the Mimic for his experiments, then Michael could be saying what he truly meant when he said to the bite victim, "I will put you back together," as he would be going down there to retrieve Cassie, or if Cassie was to ascend to the surface to find Mike, as she sees everything down in the lower parts of Sister Location, things that William was doing with the M2 program. Something also to point out is that the first ever full version song that Riskin posted on his X was Demolition Inevitable, which is what we can basically call the Michael Afton theme song. The reason for this? Because I think that as Cassie ascends to the surface, or after Michael goes so deep to retrieve Cassie and then they ascend to the surface, we fight what is at the surface, which is the Blob. And regardless of if the Blob will be real Afton amalgamation or Mimic amalgamation, or if this is Shadow Freddy Eleanor Agony amalgamation, it doesn't matter. Michael would be able to finally destroy the legacy of his father once and for all. And after this boss fight happens, the Pizzaplex would crash in on itself and destroy itself, making its demolition inevitable. And considering that the Pizzaplex is where the head of the company is, as we see in the Storyteller, and considering that it is implied that there are no subsidiary companies left in Fazbear Entertainment, this would destroy Fazbear Entertainment utterly and completely. So let's go back and revisit all of Michael's goals in the series. He wants to find closure with the bite victim, free the spirits, destroy his father, and destroy Fazbear Entertainment. With Michael's death in FNAF 6, only two of these things at most happen, but if this ending happens in the next game Abyss, then Michael truly does fulfill all of his goals, which means he can finally let on.